And now, the best 60-ish seconds of your week.
And it's the best 60-ish seconds of your week. Our unedited, unscripted, unrehearsed commentary on what's happened over the course of the past couple of weeks. And please, we don't ask very often, but take a moment to like, share, subscribe, send comments. When you like and share, it provides, in effect, free advertising for us and helps us to build our audience, which is what we'd really like to do. And yes, I'm seated this week for the best 60 seconds. The good Lord has given me a couple physical challenges here in the past couple of weeks, so please say a prayer for the old man, and we'll go from the seated position this week. You know, since we last spoke, because we recorded early last week, because I was leaving for Florida for spring training, no major league contract this year. I don't know what's going on, but I will sit by the phone on NBA draft day. But after we recorded last week was that, shall we say, tumultuous meeting in the Oval Office with Vladimir Zelenskyy. Now, the left-wing media and the Democrats, oh, President Trump this and President Trump that and President Trump the other thing. What about Vladimir Zelenskyy? I mean, this guy has waltzed over here year after year, in effect demanding, not even asking, but demanding an open blank check from the American taxpayers. And he just thinks he's somehow entitled to it. And he goes into the Oval Office that afternoon wearing a t-shirt, imagine that, and making all sorts of demands on President Trump, his administration, and the American people. And President Trump told him what to do about it. You know, it was interesting. Some in the media said, oh, Ronald Reagan would be rolling over in his grave. Yes, he would. I worked for Ronald Reagan, and I can tell you with metaphysical certainty that Ronald Reagan would not have let Vladimir Zelenskyy into the Oval Office dressed like that. Ronald Reagan never set foot in the Oval Office without a coat and tie, and it was in effect his office for 8 years. He just believed that it was the office of the President of the United States and deserved the respect that he gave it, and he would have demanded of anybody that visited. And of course, the other big event was the State of the Union. Not truly a State of the Union because it was in the first year, but for all intents and purposes, a State of the Union address. And bluntly, I think it was Donald Trump's best speech ever. I mean, I thought that the speech he gave at the convention, at least most of it, was a great speech. This was better. Yeah, it was longer than any speech in history, but they weren't yelling for him to go away at the end. They were crying for more and more and more. And he told the story of what his administration has done and will do, which is basically to fulfill the mandate that the American people gave him on November 5th, in which he has hit the ground running with warp speed. You know, they always talk about the first 100 days. Well, for Donald J. Trump, it's been the first couple of weeks. I mean, it really is remarkable what he has been able to accomplish. The Democrats just can't seem to understand it. And so what were they left with? I mean, they were, you know, petulant children, you know, with their little shenanigans and, you know, this and that and the other thing, holding up their little paddles with writing on it that you couldn't even read. So you know how effective that was as a communications concept, and walking out. I hope the door didn't hit him in the rear. You know, all this stuff that, you know, are basically 8th grade hijinks. And then you had Al Green, a nearly 80-year-old congressman, waving his cane at Donald Trump and disrupting the proceedings. And Mike Johnson was so great. He said, you've got your warning. You can either sit down and behave yourself or you're going to get thrown out. He didn't sit down and behave himself, and Speaker Johnson had him removed. We have returned to regular order. It's a great thing. And what was so compelling to me about the Trump speech was his incredible use of what we used to call Lenny Skutnik moments. Lenny Skutnik was the man who helped to rescue people from the plane that went into the Potomac River during the early days of his administration, and he shouted out to Lenny Skutnik in the gallery. I think it was the first time that a president had ever done that. And since then, every president has used those moments to great effect. And Donald Trump did it better than ever. But what happened? He's talking about a 13-year-old boy who's had multiple surgeries for cancer and has survived. He's talking about Laken Riley, that beautiful young woman that was murdered by an illegal immigrant criminal. And what did the Democrats do? They sat on their hands. I mean, this just shows, to be very blunt, where they are. And so President Trump told many, many fabulous emotional stories, and in fact, each one better than the previous, and did so effectively. A great night for Donald J. Trump, a horrible night for the Democrats. And we like to end with a tribute to those whom we have lost. And sometime over the course of the past couple of weeks, the world lost Gene Hackman. Still not sure exactly what the circumstances were or when he actually passed, but the police tell us it wasn't foul play and that they're still investigating what happened. But Gene Hackman, what a fabulous actor. One of my favorites. I mean, in my judgment, one of the 4 or 5 greatest of our time. It's hard to imagine which one was the best, from The French Connection to They Shoot Horses, Don't They, to his role in No Way Out, which I thought was amazing, to Crimson Tide, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But if you know me, you'll know that my favorite will always be Hoosiers. And if you know me, you'll know why. The world lost a truly great actor. In my judgment, one of the 4 or 5 best of our time, and may he rest in peace. And for now, that is the best 60-ish seconds of your week.